of deja vu. I feel like I've been here. So that's, I think, a good thing. Congratulations. By way of introductions again, my name is Michael Montero. I'm a district court judge in the state of Nevada. My district is the 6th, which is Humboldt County. Nice to be here this morning and nice to be here again this afternoon.
My name is Jennifer McMenemy. I'm an associate attorney at Allison McKenzie Law Firm in Carson City.
My name is Lance White, and I'm a local attorney. Kevin Higgins, I'm the Chief Judge of the Court of Justice Court.
You'll please introduce yourself.
Good afternoon. We're Reno High School's Unit 6. My name is Chloe Kinnerson.
I'm J.C. Carey.
I'm Mira Kosla.
My name is Ben Smith. Our unit coach is Mr. Denny Markdale, and our teacher is Mr. Richard Clark.
Very good. And this is Unit 6. We picked for this afternoon question 2. So Unit 6 is what challenges might face American constitutional democracy in the 21st century. Question 2 is what do you think are the greatest challenges of American citizenship today? Why and how does constitutional democracy in the United States depend on the active participation of its citizens? And what are the advantages and disadvantages, if any, of being a citizen of both the United States and the state in which you reside? Timer ready? You may proceed.
In a country whose government is dependent on the people, a lack of trust has the potential to destroy citizen participation. According to Pew Research Center, as of 2017, only 18% of Americans say that they can trust the federal government. Participation, including personal research through viable and credible sources, is crucial to constitutional democracy. In recent years, distrust in government has become the largest obstacle in both the lives of citizens and the functioning of American democracy.
The framers didn't trust a strong central government due to their past experiences with Britain. This distrust resulted in the Articles of Confederation, which gave little power to the national government. America was a collection of individual states, not a unified government. It wasn't until Shays' Rebellion that the flaws of decentralization were exacerbated, leading to the creation of the Constitution.
Current President Donald Trump's cries and fake news have been used to discredit various media sources, causing confusion among the American public. President Trump's constant references to the Mueller investigation as a witch hunt are especially suspicious considering it is an investigation of foreign interference in his election. These statements only serve as misdirection away from the truth.
Nevada Senator Dean Heller, in town hall meetings, stated that he could not support a piece of legislation that took healthcare away from tens of millions of Americans and thousands of Nevadans. However, Heller voted yes on the Healthcare Freedom Act of 2017, a bill that would have cut Medicaid funding. Heller has not given a reason on why he voted against his promise, and this lack of communication has weakened the trust of many Nevadans, a major reason why he lost the most recent election.
Our constitutional democracy is dependent on active participation of its citizens, which is only achievable when people believe that their voices and actions matter. We, the people, have the responsibility to create positive change, most effectively done through smaller communities. Local participation allows you to see the impact that you've had and educates you on your community's local issues. Increased awareness and engagement leads to the development of classical Republican values. Our constitutional democracy is dependent on our desire to protect the common good. This does not exist without active participation. If we don't have the will of the people, we have nothing.
Certain advantages for citizens arise from the from the separation between the state and federal governments, a distinction made in the 1935 Supreme Court case, Colgate v. Harvey. If you aren't in agreement with the majority of your state, the federal government can still protect your interests from the tyranny of the majority. Despite the politics of your state, you still have the fundamental right to privacy, guaranteed by Griswold v. Connecticut.
However, the dichotomy between state and national citizenship also creates certain disadvantages for citizens. Conflict between state and federal government casts doubt on the ability of the government to truly represent the people. In Nevada, federally maintained land is one source of contention. Jarbidge, a small town in Elko County, has one main road running through the Jarbidge Wilderness area, which was left in major disrepair. The citizens of Jarbidge are at a disadvantage because the state is unable to repair the road on federal land, and the federal government would not repair it due to environmental concerns. In response, the residents ended up digging out the road themselves, frustrated that neither the state or federal government were representing their needs.
Citizens only participate if they trust their government. In a country built upon civic participation, It is not acceptable for only 18% of Americans to trust the federal government. A greater degree of transparency and a more direct correlation between public demand and government action is necessary to increase public trust in government, thereby lessening one of the greatest challenges to American democracy. Thank you.
Thank you. First question is, what are non-governmental organizations and how can Americans participate in them?
Non-governmental organizations, or NGOs, are organizations that are run by citizens that are not affiliated with the government. An example that I'm actually part of is called Rise Reno, in which volunteers, including myself, cook food and then go downtown to feed the local homeless population.
It is very easy for anybody at any age to participate in these NGOs. I personally participate in this Reno organization called Keep Trucking Mountains Beautiful, and I've been doing that since I was a little kid. There's no age requirement, you just need a parental signature, and you can go out and clean up the community.
Another organization that's really easy to get involved with is the Kiwanis Club. I myself am part of Key Club, which is the high school version that leads up into that. I've actually been the president of this club for 2 years, and that has given me a lot of experience when it comes to volunteering and working inside of my community to make smaller changes that eventually lead to a much greater community.
So along those lines, in beginning with disadvantages, what are some disadvantages and advantages of NGOs?
Some advantages of NGOs are getting your community out and participating. And so if you go out and participate in an NGO, you can see the effect that that is having on a much smaller scale, whereas if you see on a much larger scale, you might not see that participation on the same level, and so you'll see that effect much more.
One disadvantage comes along with the participation or lack thereof. Sometimes these organizations have a hard time getting the word out, especially to younger audiences. I know specifically like Kiwanis Club and Rotary Club, a lot of their membership tends to be older participants, and so they have a difficult time engaging younger citizens.
Another disadvantage is that these organizations aren't necessarily promoted in the K-12 education system. Most students only need required volunteer hours once they get to high school. So these organizations lack the numbers to have a large influence in the community when it's only high schoolers that are required to do these volunteer hours.
How can you participate in your local government?
One method of participating is participating in city council meetings, school board meetings. Even if you aren't old enough to vote, you can still participate in these meetings, get your voice out, speak in front of people who are able to create change in your community.
In the recent midterm election, I went out and participated with the Nevada Democrats, and I went door to door asking voters to get out for the vote, and so that helps promote the idea of going and participating in your community.
I volunteered at the Great Reno Debate, which was a bipartisan debate. Eddie Norton was there. And the reason why I volunteered is because I appreciated the bipartisan nature of the event and how the candidates were just discussing their issues. So that's one way I could get involved, is by volunteering my time.
Just recently, I went down to the the District Specialty Court, the drug court, and observed 2 hours of the court proceedings, and just becoming educated on how those proceedings unveil is just another way to understand more of your judicial system and to be a better citizen.
Well, as one of those older people that belongs to a Rotary Club, what can we do to encourage people to engage in civic participation? Boy Scout troops are folding, service organizations are folding, bowling leagues are disappearing. What do we do to get you out of the house and put your thumbs away and participate?
So participation needs to be focused on at much younger levels in K-12 education. Starting off with younger children, elementary schoolers, they need to be educated on how to participate. And while this isn't necessarily like go out and vote because they're not old enough, just teaching them and encouraging them to participate in the community. Maybe it's with a school garden or going out and seeing different city officials, something like that. Smaller things encourages the mindset that they should be active citizens, that they should be participating in the community. And starting small allows them to get into that mindset of wanting to promote the common good. And as they get older, that translates more and more into participating with NGOs or to voting in elections and things like that.
We no longer have civics classes. In school, we have government classes, however, civics classes are different. The closest would be this, the people class. But civics classes teach citizens and students their particular role in the government and how they can participate. And that's one of the reasons why many young citizens aren't participating, is because they may not understand everything that they can do to participate.
Another method is advertisement on social media of these volunteer programs. One such example, it was Michelle Obama's Get Fit initiative, where she used celebrities to advertise this program. If this was used to advertise other programs of volunteering in the community with these celebrities that many young people look up to, this can increase their awareness and perhaps their motivation to go out and actually volunteer.
The prepared remarks talk about the advantages and disadvantages of being a citizen of both the United States and the state in which you reside. I also think that maybe as a continuation of that is there are advantages and disadvantages of which state you live in politically. Do you have some examples and thoughts on whether this is a good or bad thing, that the states may have some differences?
One example would be if you are living in a large state such as California, statistically speaking, your vote is going to have less weight than if you were living in a less populated state. So that is one example in which living in a large state slightly diminishes the value of your vote.
Can I just clarify my colleague's point? He's talking specifically about the electoral college
Yeah.
example.
Very good. Unfortunately, we're out of time again. How about a round of applause? I'm sitting here scratching my head because I'm not sure how much homework you did on knowing your audience, but having a judge from rural Nevada and talking about the shovel brigade, wow. Having a conversation about participation in local government by attending a specialty court, I preside over about 5 of them. I'm like, I think they've done their homework. I don't know if that was intentional on your parts, but very good. I haven't heard participation in government in being, going to the courthouse. And that was the first I heard, so very good. And I think we talked about this encouraging greater civic participation by young people, and I'm just going to end by saying this is it right here. We need this in more schools, and although Reno doesn't seem to have a problem, but we need more students doing what you're doing. You're educating yourselves. You're going to be much smarter voters than probably any of us with this type of participation. Congratulations. You've done a nice job.
Great job. I thought you guys were excellent. You had really good flow. There was a lot of good teamwork that I saw. You built on each other's sentences. I thought that was great. I liked how you used the personal examples. Every single one of you is getting out there and volunteering in some way, and that's excellent. The one thing that I would say that I noticed, and I think my colleague to the right might also ding you on this, is that he asked you about the disadvantages beginning, and you started out talking about advantages. So make sure you listen whenever somebody is asking you a question, because he kind of changed that question around, and I think you were prepared to answer the advantages portion before you were prepared to answer the disadvantages portion. So I would just say, pay attention to the call of the question next time.
She's right. That's the one thing I can but Judge Higgins will go over an entire list of things. Thank you for being here and having this much support. This is fantastic.
I got one case with 1988. So you guys, I'm always impressed with you. I went to Reed, but I can say I'm always impressed with Reno High School, the amount of effort and work you put into it. Judge Montero mentioned, I've never heard garbage mentioned in a We the People in 15 years. That's an excellent example of self-help, and Senator Heller and what happened to him in the election. These things come to roost. We have these people that are involved in government have these discussions all the time. And it's kind of like learning the operating system of the computer. If you don't know the language and how things work, you can't get things done. So I'm trusting all of you that you voted this time, or you're going to vote as soon as you can, right? And then you're going to run for the legislature and it's all straightened out.